All right, y'all, today we are working on a 1993 Four Winds Horizon. Let's check it out. It's pretty chalked. It's got a lot of mold on it too. We're gonna take the pinstripes off. The top's still worse. There's still oxidation on the bottom, but first we're going to do a deep wash on it, and then we're gonna take the pinstripes off, start wet sanding, and then compound. All right, as you can tell, it looks like it's been sitting for quite a while now. I'm probably just gonna go ahead and take that off too, because it looks like some of the letters are missing. Yeah, it is Captain's choice. But we're gonna take this cover off. Let's see if these are screwed in so that these can, yep, thank God. Yep, they will come right off. So you can see how bad the top is. There's absolutely no reflection at all. I think some of it's coming off on my finger too. Let's see, a little bit, but okay, let's check out the next side. All right, like I said, the bottom ain't that bad, but still gonna wet sand it because it's still there. And let's go ahead and get started. All right, y'all, so we got it washed, we got the screws out. So now we're going in with the eraser wheel. I think this is a 3M eraser wheel. It really don't matter what brand you use, but the only time we go in with the eraser wheel is if the pinstripe is really dried on there, because it is the original stripe. It's just been baking out in the sun. So just go through and do that, and then I am going to see if the heat gun will get the bottom stripe off, seeing that it's wide. If not, unfortunately, we'll have to go in with the eraser wheel too. So let's keep going. Okay, after about 2.5 hours, we finally got all of the pinstripe off, and apparently there was 3 pinstripes down here. 1, 2, 3. It was a white one up there. I don't know why Four Winds had to do that to me, but when I thought I was done, we wasn't, because there was a whole white pinstripe going all the way down. It doesn't make any sense. But Barry's gonna do the whole bottom with the DA, and I'm going to hand sand the whole top. Yes, you can take the DA to the top too, but I'm going to go ahead and do the top by hand so it can go by faster. You can use a sponge or something similar to wrap your sandpaper in. Now, seeing how chalk this was, I am going to go in with 800 grit, then I'm going to go in with 1,000, and then 2,000. 3,000 is totally optional. You really don't have to do 3,000 on white. But the only thing about going to higher grits is it's going to make you save a lot of product, and it's going to make the polishing and compounding process go so much faster. Okay, so here's the sander we're using, polisher, whatever you want to call it. We have our interface pad on there. You get the interface pad at Harbor Freight or Amazon, and we got our paper with holes in it. Now, I do recommend the first grit you go in with, no matter if it's 1,000 or 800. The first grit you go in with, if you want to save money, you can get this, what's it called, Sunmight
Pro.
Yeah, Sunmight Pro, and it's got holes in it. It can breathe, so it's not going to create pigtails. Now, after that, we're going to go in with sandpaper that is foamed back. And yeah, I found out that using that sandpaper, you get like 50 pieces for $30. And the ones that are foamed back by sunmight or sun foam, whatever it's called, it's like $30 for a box for only 10 pieces. So for your first grit to cut the problem off, which is oxidation, you want to go in with something like that. Okay, so I got the whole entire top wet sanded with 800. Now I'm going to go in with the foam back 1,000 piece. I'm going to do this by hand just so Barry can go ahead and do the whole bottom. But this is it. Sun foam disc by Sunmight. It's 1,000 grit. The foam back pieces only come with 10 pieces for the same price. It's like $30. But I really think this is as close as you're going to get to Merca without spending, like, I think it's $4 or $5 per piece of sandpaper. But it's done us very well on every single boat we do. So let's go ahead and do it. And you do want to work in 2x2 sections. So like from there to there, there to there, and then you want to change your piece every 2 to 3 2x2 sections. You don't want to use one piece on the whole boat because it's going to lose its grit. Okay, so now I went in with my 800 and 1,000. So I do want to show you like a step by step on how I wet sand. Just for the people that, I mean, you might not know how to wet sand, you know. I mean, some people have asked how to dry sand, but no, I don't like the dry sand because you can't really see when the oxidation's gone. But like I said before, the first step is the most important step. Because the first grit you go in is going to be the grit that takes the oxidation off. So now I'm going in with 2,000. This is just going to smooth out my 1,000 grit scratches after the 800 grit scratches. You don't have to go high, but we do because we like the result. So this is a bucket of Dawn dish soap. Now, I already got water on here. So now I'm going to squeeze it out because you don't want too much water when you're wet sanding, or you'll have too much water between the gel coat itself and your paper or your foam paper, and it's not going to do what it needs to do. So look, I got it wrapped up in there, and you want to use the force of your hand alone. You don't want to just do your fingers, because look, if you're just doing your fingers right there, you're just going to have finger scratches, and you're not going to cover all the area that you need to cover. So I'm just going to do this every 2 to 3 sections, and I'm going to change out my piece of paper. Now on the ridges like this, you will have to put your finger in there. I mean, yeah, I can do this whole top with the DA, but I'd rather Barry do the bottom because it's bigger. So I can just knock this out by hand. You can use the top with the DA polisher sander. But even if you did, you'd have to come in little areas like this and do it by hand. Just because the DA is circular, so it's not going to get all in the edge like it would by hand. So it's literally all you do, and then once your paper gets filled up, you'll see more white in there. Once it gets filled up, just rinse it out, squeeze it, and start over again until you're done with that second or third section. I'm gonna go ahead and put this back on the time lapse, but that's simply all you're doing. Now, some people have asked before, how do I know if I need to wet sand? Can I just buff over it with a wool pad and compound? The answer is no, you can do as you please, but from my experience, if you don't have a shine, if it's all chalked out, faded, whatever you want to call it, it has to be wet sanded. So there's absolutely no shine, it's really dry. The bottom is shinier, but it still has oxidation embedded in there. So if you come and look at this side where we have wet sanded, we have not wet sanded right there, hence it's drying fast. But this is actually holding water because we wet sanded that old layer, dead layer of gel coat off. So like I said, we didn't wet sand back here, so it's getting sucked in, drying up real quick. But where we did wet sand is holding water. So we opened up those pores. Gel coat is very porous. So after that, in just a second, when we're done wet sanding, we're going to jump in with compound, and I will show you the compound that we use and how to compound correctly.